Good morning, members of the board. I'm Mark Oswell. I've lived in this county I'm 51 years old. I've been here for 49 of my 51 years, been 2 years in college. I'm a retired member of Operating Engineers Local 3, 21-year member. I had 12 years in the rock, sand, and gravel industry, from being a loop truck driver from all the way up to running heavy equipment, being a plant operator and a safety director at a mine down south. I think I'm qualified to speak on some of these matters. The first issue I'd like to bring up is that next time you see a load of asphalt oil going down the highway, look at the placards. There's just a diamond triangle that says hot. It doesn't have a hazmat placard. There's no United Nations placard. It is not specified under the current regulations as hazardous material. That's a fact. Number two, this plant, I understand, I'm addressing the asphalt plant only at this point because that's my area of expertise.
Okay, try and keep your comments to the EIR.
Is that, yeah, as far regarding the EIR, this is going to be a batch plant. Granite Construction has a drum plant, which is called a continuous plant. They can't fire up and make 5 tons at a time. So they don't fire up unless they have 20 truckloads because it costs $1,000 to start that plant every time they fire it up. A batch plant is capable of doing small pickup loads, dump truck loads, etc., so it fits a need. Right now, trucks are going all the way from the city of Ukiah and Whip Construction all the way to Healdsburg and Todd Road and Santa Rosa, Sire Industries plants, impacting the roads, everything else, you know, costing money, fuel, pollution, etc. Combining an asphalt facility with a rock quarry along with a concrete batch plant, it just makes prudent sense because it takes trucks off the highway that import rock to other facilities such as Willits, etc. You know, keeping them all in-house and one site is going to actually reduce pollutants, not increase pollutants. This plant is going to be, my understanding, state-of-the-art with the most modern baghouse facility for removing pollutants from the air. I worked next to 2 batch plants that were ancient designs at Sire Industries in Healdsburg, and the noise wasn't, you know, you could walk away from it 100 feet and you could hardly hear it. They had some suppression measures in effect that were pretty crude but effective, just hanging conveyor belting around the site. And these were old plants. These plants were 50 years old. It just makes common prudent sense to, you know, once this EIR is certified and everything, to approve this project. And something I want to add is right now, because of the restrictions in California on the mining industry, rock is being imported from Mexico and Canada on barges in the San Francisco Bay for what used to be Kaiser. It's called Hanson Building Materials. And what we're doing is we're doing environmental degradation in other countries that don't have the proper regulations that we have in California. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Oswald. Jack Meunier, followed by Jan Stevens.
Good morning. I'd just like to say that sounded more like cheerleading than addressing the DEIR. I'll get to my remarks quickly. I've written 18 questions. They average about 10 seconds apiece, so hopefully I can get through in 3 minutes. Number 1 is the impact report, a rush to a conclusion with a struggle to make the pieces fit. Number 2, why is the weather modeling done 4.7 miles away from the site at a former Remco plant instead of at the Harris Quarry site? Number 3, why has the report not addressed the weather phenomenon of thermal inversion, which is chronic in the proposed plant locale and which causes toxicant entrapment? Number 4, why has the DEIR author ignored topographical influence with regard to pollution concentration in tandem with thermal inversion? Number 5, why is less emphasis given to problems and more to mitigations? Number 6, why does the author of the report seek cover and justification for placing an asphalt plant near a school instead of warning of possible dangers of weather and valley inversions? Number 7, is the synergistic mix of toxicants and pollutants more powerful than the sum of all components, and why is this not allowed for in the report? Will the increased truck traffic flow of 52 heavily loaded trucks per hour moving adjacent to the populated areas cause further toxic pollution and particulate invasion? Will a regular winter and spring precipitation force down and deposit otherwise entrapped atmospheric toxicants like arsenic, benzene, formaldehyde, and cadmium? Will northern aggregates be financially responsible for cases of leukemia, birth defects, cancer clusters, and other diseases? Has the DEIR made an attempt to consult with the medical community on health issues? Does the protection of the public's health and life supersede financial considerations of either Northern Aggregates or potential revenue of the county? Is the architect of the DEIR or county aware of studies that show a 16-fold increase in suicide rates and a 6.7-fold increase of brain cancer in areas of asphalt plants in North Carolina? Has the DEIR reported asphalt industry is operating at less than 50% capacity in this area? Has the DEIR taken into account Northern Aggregates' historical non-performance and non-compliance with regard to permitting and quarry extraction? Does the DEIR regard with suspicion the ability or intent of Northern Aggregates to comply with so-called mitigations, given their inability or unwillingness to comply to relatively few requirements in the past? Why has the DEIR estimated water requirements to be 4 million gallons a year when 28 million gallons a year is standard for the same size plant? Why has DEIR underestimated air emissions while overestimating distances to the school, church, and Golden Rule Home Park? These are just a few questions generated within a narrow range. What can we think about the rest? Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Jan Stevens, and as a resident of Mendocino County concerned with zoning issues and some other issues that have not been addressed in the DEIR, I have some questions for you. Number one, what is the justification for changing use and zoning from resource rangeland to industrial? How will this affect other current and future mineral extraction sites in other rangeland zones? Number two, Northern Aggregates wants to increase rock extraction from 75,000 cubic yards per year to 410,000 cubic yards per year. That's on page 125. Yet in other parts of the draft EIR, 200,000 cubic yards per year is cited. So what's the right number? How do these two numbers affect reliability of the projected impacts such as water use, truck traffic, and air quality impacts? Is there a need for that much increase in rock in our county? Is Northern Aggregates planning to export rock out of Mendocino County? How are the impacts of rock export accounted for in the draft EIR traffic study? 3, why was there no mention of materials import traffic that results from various companies trucking in materials needed for manufacture of asphalt and concrete in the traffic study? The traffic study seems to only include Northern Aggregates truck trips. 4, Granite Construction currently has an asphalt concrete facility in our area that is operating at 30% capacity and has closed their Longville operations, according to a radio interview with a Granite Construction spokesperson. Where in the draft EIR is a demonstration of need for the project? In 2005, I saw this proposed plant almost railroaded through the Planning Commission and the Board of Supervisors, and it needs more thought. It's not done yet, and this draft EIR needs to be recirculated as a draft after changes are made. Thank you.
Thank you. Tabitha Atkinson, followed by Lael Frazier, please.
Good morning. My name is Tabitha Atkinson. I'm just going to get straight to these. Number one is, where is the basis for the requested height change that will apply throughout the county for the next 100 years? Would a small asphalt plant not require a height change amendment? My next four questions deal with air quality. I'm a chemical asthmatic. I moved to Willits, California due to the air quality. When Safeway tore up their parking lot, I spent a year recovering. My lungs dropped